everybody. Welcome in to another episode of the NFL Seekers podcast. Today, we'll be recapping week 7 of the NFL season. Weird week, weird just overall week. We're recording this right after the Vikings beat the Niners, so that kind of just exemplifies the week. And yeah, how was week 7 for you guys?
Man, week 7 was great. I had a great week. My team went crazy. How about you, Stores? How'd your week go?
Awful. Everything's been awful. I can't get one positive from this week. And to be honest, what I know, I'm probably guessing Shane probably won picks again because it was just a weird week. And I feel like, did he? Who won picks?
I'm gonna be honest. I'm a terrible podcast host, and I didn't add it up. So we're gonna have to see for our week 8 preview.
I know I probably didn't pick a single game right this week because every single person and team I picked seemed to have lost. I'm going through all of them, and it just doesn't seem like there's one right one, other than maybe the Seahawks.
Not gonna lie, I think a reason I didn't count them up is because I think I subconsciously knew that I got like 2 picks right. I'm pretty sure that I picked like every game wrong. So I think it might have just been a complete shiz fest, and all of us just were terrible.
I don't think it's got to be very close. That's all I'm going to say. I think it's going to be very, very close, and it's not going to be many. Maybe like I'm guessing between maybe 2 to 5 picks at the most is right between all of us.
Yeah, that's just kind of how week 7 was. It was a weird week, and yeah, we'll update you guys on who won picks with our next episode. But yeah, we'll get right into our stud and goof of the week. We'll start with our stud of the week, Lamar Jackson. Pretty self-explanatory. He kind of just went off and beat the Lions, who are like one of the best teams in the NFL. It's kind of crazy. He had himself a day this Sunday. You love to see it. Lamar just shredded up the Lions, and that score line was one that no one expected to see.
I mean, it was pretty simple. It was MVP season Lamar this weekend.
Oh man,
could be MVP season Lamar again this year. Like it could be another MVP season for him.
And then I mean, Lamar absolutely went crazy. I mean, he was like the first touchdown of the week. You just feel he was going to be dominant after that first drive by the Ravens. And then I mean, we have Calvin Ridley right here as our goof of the week. Now currently the Jaguars wide receiver 4 on their roster. And there's actually a lot of goofs I'd like to go over, but I'll let you guys talk about Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, so I texted you guys before the Thursday night game, and I was like, watch, people are gonna be posting sell Calvin Ridley high videos after this game, because it was kind of just moving into the direction that the Jaguars are really leaning into Christian Kirk and Evan Ingram and Travis Etienne, and yeah, in this game they leaned into those 3 plus Jamal Agnew. Zay Jones wasn't even in that game, so Calvin really just took a back seat, and he's kind of the goof of the week for that reason. He took a back seat, and he's not really an alpha. He's not really like a dominant wide receiver 1 that I expected him to be, honestly.
And Danny did just that. He sold high and he cashed out. And honestly, you got out at a perfect time, it feels like. I know it's only been 1 week since you got out of him, but that 1 week, it's worked out. But it's pretty crazy how far down the target totem pole Calvin Ridley is. Definitely not expected. Not to toot my own horn, but I was definitely the Calvin Ridley hater coming into the season out of us 3, and it's starting to look like he's going to be a sort of a bust if you got him in that 3rd, 4th round.
Yeah, I mean, I drafted him in the 3rd round, so I was clearly high on him, and I admitted it like last week. I admitted that I kind of missed, and I traded him high because I didn't like the vibes with all the Christian Kirk targets.
For sure. I'm just going to go over a couple more goofs if you guys don't mind real quick. Just want to shout out a few people. Bijan Robinson.
I mean,
absolute goofball.
You can't blame him.
I blame him. I'm gonna stomach ache and cry and sit out all game because I don't feel well. How about you tell your fantasy owners? I'd like to say some really mean words to them right now. I'm not gonna say it on the pod because this is kid friendly. But there's some choice words I have for Bijan Robinson after this week. And I'm sure a lot of bettors do. And I saw there's a lot of Bijan 0.5 rush yards. Like that was like a giveaway this week.
I took the over and it barely hit.
No, he only had 3 rushing yards.
Yeah.
What was his thing? Wasn't it 0. Or wasn't it 5 rushing yards?
No, it was 0.5.
It was just 1 rush yard. So it was a
Oh, so yeah, okay. But yeah, he had 1 carry for 3 yards. I don't even know why they even gave him a carry at that point. But
Yeah,
absolutely,
what was the use of even putting him out there like for a few plays? It was so weird.
Honestly,
was,
I seriously, I wonder if they got taught word that he had this line, and they're like, okay, we can't have him hit that under. Like we can't do that, especially since they didn't say anything about it. Like they like not physically, but they couldn't do that. So they probably sent him out there for one just to hit that over and then took him back out.
that's probably true. Yeah, I could actually see something like that, like somebody calling in and like, "Are you kidding me?" Like some high NFL executives or something. Like, "Are you kidding me? You guys didn't even like." He should have been a healthy scratch. That was absolutely ridiculous. Justin Herbert, goof of the week. Cooper Cup, goof of the week. 49ers defense, goof
Are
of
you
the
just
week.
reading off your fantasy team right
Yeah,
now?
he is reading off his fantasy team.
Keontae Ingram, goof of the week.
Every single honorable mention he just named was on his fantasy team.
May or may not every single one of those guys.
Wow.
With that said, I'm pissed this week, and I got some choice words with my team. I got to bring them into the locker room and sit them down for a talk because I'm not happy this week.
Clearly,
And quickly before we move on, do you guys want to shout out any studs, any honorable mention studs of the week?
Oh yeah, apparently. Sorry, I'm going to cut you off, Shane. Deontay Foreman. Yeah, yeah, 3 touchdowns. That was awesome. Good job, Deontay Foreman. I'm really glad you did that for the Bears. That was cool.
Yeah, Deontay Foreman, fantasy beast. And I guess we'll mention one more guy real quick that played tonight. Jordan Addison. He ruined my complete night in a league. I was up 32 going into tonight, and I was playing against Jordan Addison, and I lost by 1. So that's just crazy. I don't even want to talk about that. I also had Jake Moody and still lost. So
Yeah,
terrible.
I played Deontay Foreman, 33 points.
no one can see that.
Yeah, Stores played against Deontay Foreman, but he also scored like 75 points. So it wouldn't have
didn't really matter, but it's still the thought that irritates me.
Yeah.
No,
Deontay
no one
Foreman
can
balled
see,
out, and he was a good fantasy start, though.
no one can see that screen on your iPhone Mini.
I do have an iPhone Mini. It's because it's cute.
I will say, I mean, Deontay Foreman, that's who I was gonna mention as my stud because we discussed that before we started recording. But anyways, go ahead, Beast. Tight ends as a whole this week they were just up. I know there's there's a lot of talk about the whatever tight end day stupid thing, but tight ends as a whole they balled out. So that was good to see.
Yep.
Yep. Dalton Kincaid was actually quite intriguing this week.
Where was he? Was he in your lineup?
I don't think I played one right tight end. I have like 3 tight ends I'm rostered.
4. You have 4.
Okay, well, one's on IR, so
He's still on your
it's
team.
legal. It's legal to have 4 if all you guys are wondering that, because you can stick one on IR. And that's Pat Fryermuth, who's an absolute bust this season. Maybe he'll come back in another 4 weeks. He's already been hurt for 4 weeks. Maybe he'll do something. But yeah, last week I played Logan Thomas. He scored 1 point. This week I played Jonnu Smith, and he scored 5, and Logan Thomas scored 9, and Dalton Kincaid scored 15. So apparently I'm not the tight end guru here, so I never know who to pick. I think I have the right matchup, but yeah, I mean the tight ends in general were up. They had a better week, and Kincaid, who was sadly on my bench, I think he was he the second leading target, or was he the first on the Bills? He actually did really good.
I think he was second.
I'm gonna fact check this real quick.
He was second. 12 to Diggs, 8 to Kincaid.
Okay, and that's kind of what I've been expecting all season for him to do, and he finally did it. But he actually ended up with all 8 catches, so he had the most catches, I guess, receptions out of all of them.
If the Kincaid managers in your leagues have dropped him and they've been frustrated with him, then just pick him up for the upside. He had a really good week this week, and if you can keep it up, he's going to be a huge tight end option moving forward.
Well, he's going to be sorry. One more thing on Kincaid. He's going to be even bigger because Dawson Knox is getting wrist surgery.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, that's massive. That's just massive.
You love to see that.
Very startable.
You love to see that.
Well, no, you don't love to see Dawson Knox hurt, but it's great to see Dalton Kincaid in this great.
No, you like to see Dawson Knox.
All right, let's move on here.
Us fantasy football fiends over here. We'll move on to the game recaps. The Jaguars go into NOLA and they beat the Saints 31-24. That Jaguars defense really, really shined. They're stepping up big time this year. Darius Williams and Tyson Campbell are just an insane, like unsung hero duo of corner duo. Everyone loves to talk about the top corner duos and top duos in the NFL. And Darius Williams and Tyson Campbell are balling. It feels like we're mentioning them in every single episode at this point. Their defenses really showed out. And Devin Lloyd, their first round pick out of Utah last year, he kind of struggled as a rookie, but he's coming into his own. So I love to see the Jaguars defense kind of figuring things out. Even Trayvon Walker, who hasn't really figured much out. He had a big game, maybe his best game of his career. So love to see that. Love to see ETN just simply making it easy for Trevor and everyone else in this offense. And he's kind of carrying right now. It's awesome what ETN's doing. He's a top back. And like we said, with our goof of the week, Calvin Ridley, wide receiver 4, Calvin Ridley, once Zay Jones gets back, and maybe wide receiver 5. It's crazy. It's just crazy what's going on with Calvin Ridley. And I guess we predicted it.
I really wish the Saints had a quarterback because their weapons are, I feel like the weapons they have are one of the best just overall weapon core in the league. They have an absolute wide receiver at running back in Alvin Kamara. That dude is not a running back. He had 14 targets tonight. If you're playing him in a PPR league, which I hope you are because it's so much more fun playing in PPR, I guess half PPR is fine. Alvin Kamara is he's going to be absolutely insane the rest of the year. Olave, I mean, he was fine, but 7 receptions off 15 targets is kind of disappointing, especially for me when I needed him to get 5 more yards on one of my bets. We're not going to talk about that, but Taysom Hill is actually, I think, going to be a decent waiver wire pickup this week. He had some good action, but yeah, the Saints overall weapon core looks really good. Derek Carr sucks.
Check down Carr. His name's not Derek. He lost Derek. It's check down Carr.
Sure.
The Jaguars are rolling. They're looking like one of the more lethal teams. I don't know what their win streak is right now, but they are 5-2, and they just continue to roll. And Trevor Lawrence playing surgical football. I mean, it's a whole team. It's a total team effort with the Jaguars. You can actually feel it like on all aspects of of special teams, defense. It's just all really clicking right now. And, Travis Etienne, man, touchdown machine, fantasy god. I could not have been more wrong about him. I every week I say this. Every week he makes me put my foot in my mouth for talking so much heat on him. But I mean, he's just a dog, and he's just been absolutely fantastic. And if you have him, he is a league winner. And he's just great, and the whole Jaguars offense is great. And check down Carr and the Saints kind of just playing how I expect them to play, and they're just mid. And Derek Carr was never. I feel like Derek Carr is just like a place filler. It's just an overpriced place filler quarterback, and he's just going to bounce from team to team, making a ton of money just to be a place filler. It kind of just feels like that. Just like a tier below Kirk Cousins, in my opinion.
I mean, it's really painful to watch, to be honest. Like this game, the checkdowns were getting out of hand. Like they had Chris Olave's route tree as a literal like Kamara's route tree. He was running like Texas routes out of the backfield. He was running running back routes just for the check down merchant Carr to be happy and to target him and to get him involved. It's pretty crazy. Their offense is very limited with him, and Carr's like very timid in the pocket too. Like he just looks scared. Like he's definitely the quarterback in the NFL. I think they said this in the offseason too. That just looks scared when he's in the pocket. He's so timid and he gets the ball out way too fast. So yeah, it's just kind of gross with Carr. And then the Saints have a ceiling right now. Let's just say that.
Yeah, for sure. But shout out Jacksonville. Honestly, I hope we can get our power rankings out this week. I think Jacksonville is going to be pretty high up there.
Yeah, we've been a little busy, but we will get our power rankings out this week. So I'm excited for that one. A fun game, a lot of fantasy options that you're going to start moving forward. We'll move on to the next game, an electric game. The Lions go into Baltimore and lose to the Ravens 38-6. It just looks crazy and sounds crazy to say, but yeah, it was a curb stomping in Baltimore, and just what a statement from Lamar Jackson. He's the MVP right now, like Shane said earlier. He won MVP in 2018, and he's looking like the MVP 2018 Lamar Jackson this year. And I don't really know if anyone has a better resume right now, at least, to win it.
And I don't think Gus Edwards is a fine flex play going forward. He obviously had a massive week this week because of that 80-yard reception that somehow didn't turn into a touchdown, which is pretty funny. But Zay Flowers and Mark Andrews are so clearly just the only weapons Lamar Jackson wants to go to. I mean, yeah, Odell's up there in target share, but seems like he can't always stay on the field completely. And Zay Flowers is just so electric. I love having him out there, and I love having him on my fantasy team.
Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed this game in a million years. I had the Lions winning, and the Lions just look flat and dead. I don't know what went wrong. It was just kind of like a stinker game for them. I don't know what. I don't get. Maybe the Ravens are just feeling it. Lamar was surgical. He was literally perfect out there. But I still trying to figure this one out. How do the Lions let this happen? That was just kind of a curveball thrown at us, and yeah, that was just an absolute beatdown by the Ravens. But on the positive things for fantasy owners, finally Jahmyr Gibbs. This is kind of what we thought would be all season. He finally gets his running back one opportunity, and he clearly should be the running back one. I mean, he's electric when he touches the ball, and this is exactly like the fantasy stats you wanted to see from Jahmyr Gibbs. 11 carries, 68 yards, 6.2 yards a carry, a rush touchdown, 9 receptions, 58 yards. Like this is the fantasy production we've been waiting all season to see, and finally get it here in week 7. And sadly, it was a beatdown. But on the positive side, Jahmyr Gibbs looks like he could be him if David Montgomery stays out, and hopefully they just use Jahmyr Gibbs more, because I mean his role has been ridiculous so far.
Yeah, hopefully seeing this in this electric performance, they see that they need to get him more involved, even if Montgomery's out there. And yeah, you asked like how the Lions could let this happen. I was asking myself the same thing, but I think the Ravens just came out swinging. They kind of smacked them in the ass to start the game, and they just kept going. They just kept pushing, and Lamar was relentless on offense. And yeah, the Lions looked a little shook. It's crazy. The Lions and Niners were like the 2 top teams in the NFL, and they both lose this week. It's a crazy week.
It just shows you that every single team in the NFL this year, there's no superpower right now. Every single team is beatable week to week. It doesn't matter if it's the Cardinals playing the Cowboys, or the Vikings beating the 49ers. It just shows you that it's really any given Sunday. And it kind of is nice because there's really no true superpower right now, and it kind of feels nice saying that. It's like any team can go out there and win each week, so it makes it more exciting on Sundays.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely super even right now. And speaking of any given Sunday, we'll get into the next game. The Browns go into Indy and beat the Colts by 1, 39-38. Just a crazy game. Like literally, honestly, one of the games of the year. It was just wild back and forth, crazy things happening, defense, offense, special teams. Myles Garrett went absolutely crazy to start the game. Jerome Ford showed off his speed with a really nice 69-yard run. And then, Jonathan Taylor's back. He had a really good fantasy performance. You love to see Jonathan Taylor get more involved and look like his old self. And Michael Pittman had that awesome touchdown, and Josh Downs kind of had a breakout game. There's just a lot of fantasy going on in this game because of just all the points.
It's kind of crazy that Jonathan Taylor and Zach Moss, we kind of expected JT to sort of start taking over the role, but they were completely even. 18 carries for each. They must love Zach Moss back there. And honestly, with both of them back there playing this amount of snaps or getting this many touches, they're both starter worthy.
Yeah,
it's scary. It's scary. Like there's always a chance that you start Zach Moss and it's the game that they just disinvolve him and he gets 0 touches, but it's possible that he's just a good start moving forward.
I'm gonna be completely honest in this game. I thought the Colts got robbed at the end. I thought there was some pretty cheesy stuff that went on there at the end, and it was such a good game. And I mean, that fumble, not turned fumble, and then the pass interference, and I mean, that was kind of out of hand. I kind of, not even a Colts fan, honestly would prefer to see the Colts lose. In all reality, if our buddy saw that, he'd laugh, but he probably won't watch this part. But I mean, I genuinely thought they got robbed out of that game. I thought that was pretty tough to watch, but I mean, it was an exciting game. I mean, you have almost 80 points scored in this one. It was electric. Minshew was playing crazy. The Browns were going crazy. I mean, just this is the kind of NFL game that's entertaining and definitely, a game of the year. But I don't know. That officiating at the end was definitely brutal if you're a Colts fan, and I definitely feel for you.
It's controversial at the end for sure. For sure. Any more takeaways in fantasy other than Zach Moss and JT situation?
Jerome Ford's going to be out at least a week, if not 2 weeks. I do think Pierre Strong is a solid pickup to have for the next 2 weeks while Jerome Ford's out. It's going to be him and Kareem Hunt getting all the work. So I think Pierre Strong is a good pickup this week.
Yep, Strong's done some pretty good things, and Hunt's looked pretty good, honestly. The last few weeks he's looked really good. He's kind of looked like himself.
Is Josh Downs a lineup block going forward?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like Gardner Minshew loves him. It looks like they're going to be in kind of games like this that are just weird and maybe more high scoring than they should be. So, yeah, it looks like Josh Downs is honestly a lineup block.
Josh Downs like a true alpha right now. Absolute dog out there.
Especially in a 12-team league, you probably have to start him. There's just so many targets in a PPR league. You love to see that, but we'll get on to the next game. The Falcons going to Tampa and beat the Bucs 16-13, and the Falcons win despite all of Ritter's damn fumbles. He's such a mess. I've got to talk about Ritter doing something negative every single Falcons recap. And then they also win despite Bijan being sick, apparently sick. That whole situation was just weird.
Hey, Desmond Ritter, no interceptions today, though. That's a positive.
There's that. How many fumbles, though? Like 2 or 3?
3 fumbles. 3 lost fumbles. Wow.
And they still win. I mean,
I think, were they all in the red zone? Or 2 out of 3 in the red zone?
2 of them definitely were.
That's insane.
How many field goals were in this game? Did they even score a touchdown? Was it all field goals?
There was 3 field goals
for the Falcons. Oh, so they did. Who scored? Oh, Desmond Ritter actually ran a touchdown. Right. Absolute disaster class for Bijan managers. I feel for you. I invested every single one of my first round picks into Bijan. It's brutal out there. He probably had a good game too. That's the sad thing.
On the other side of the ball, on the Bucs side, kind of disappointing. Baker was okay. Mike Evans is still that dude's solid. He's obviously Baker's go-to guy. I think Chris Godwin got hurt. I know an injury report came out today, Monday, that he is questionable already. So we'll see about that. Rachaad White is a fine RB2 play. He gets plenty of receiving work. He was fine. But yeah, other than that, not much else to say. Drake London, he's definitely been much better.
How did Kyle Pitts do this week?
3 catches for 47 yards off of 4 targets, and 1 catch had no business being a catch.
That catch was sick, dude. That catch was literally insane.
One hand behind the back, it was insane.
And he swaddled it. You're like, I don't even. That was crazy.
Define swaddle.
Whatever that's called. Cradled it. Sorry.
Pretty boring game though overall.
Very boring.
Yeah, gross game, and let's move on from this one.
Not too much to take away other than Young Hoke, who is a beast. And I did want to take this opportunity to start my Taylor Heineke needs to be the Falcon starter propaganda, because I haven't mentioned that this season. He would be a lot more fun and a lot more variance for that offense.
100% agreed.
All right. We'll move on to the next game. The Bills go on to New England and lose to the Patriots 29-25. Just when you start to count out Bill Belichick and wonder what the hell he's doing, he goes and does this, and apparently all he has to do is just lean into Demario Douglas game. They go and beat the Bills, and just crazy stuff. Shout out to Mac Jones. It was fun. And they're still playing after some really, really rough losses. So respect to the Patriots. And on the Bills end, it's not looking good. The last few weeks has been kind of sloppy. It's not good after their kind of dominant start to the season. The one positive, like we mentioned with our Stud of the Week segment, is Dalton Kincaid is getting more involved, and he's a real fantasy option moving forward.
Even though it was ugly for the Bills, a couple positive notes. James Cook was much more involved compared to last week when we saw Latavius Murray in there a lot. 13 carries for Cook versus Latavius Murray's 4. And then James Cook finally got back into the receiving game. I feel like he's been out of that the last couple of weeks. He had 3 catches for 46 yards and a touchdown. this week. Obviously, Stephon Diggs every week. He's Stephon Diggs. But yeah, moving forward, I'm really excited to see Dalton Kincaid without Dawson Knox coming off of this 8-target, 8-catch game. That's going to be fun to see. And then I think this is kind of bizarre. Ezekiel Elliott out getting more carries than Ramondre Stevenson. I don't understand. Like, I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to me. 11 carries.
Ramondre literally like won them this game too on their last drive. They threw it to him and he literally got them all the way down there. No one else on the Patriots would have got them down there. So Ramondre is obviously their most electric player and needs the ball way more. That's just crazy.
I mean, you got saved by Ramondre in the receiving game, 6 catches for 51 yards. That's awesome to see. But yeah, the rushing attempts, that's bizarre.
All right, so I just want to shout out Mac Jones. Played really good football. With one of the worst, honestly, offenses in the NFL, definitely receiving core. Definitely gets a lot of blame for just really, really poor offense. Even though he hasn't been playing great, he really stepped up in this game. I mean, took down a tough Bills team. And I also want to call out Devontae Parker for last week when Mac Jones absolutely steps up, makes a beautiful throw, hits him right in the hands, and he drops it. And then Devontae Parker in the interview goes, "Oh, I don't know, was the pass there? I don't think it even touched my fingertips." So I don't know, toxic receivers, horrible trash receivers, but Mac Jones got the job done and beat a tough Bills game. So that was pretty impressive. Not the worst quarterback in that draft class by any means.
Yeah, that specific throw was a beautiful dime by Mac. So that was terrible by Devontae Parker. But yeah, like you said, the Patriots have really no weapons outside of Ramondre. They've got to involve him more. They've got to get better receivers. And yep, they got the win though. So I guess they're doing something right. Demario Douglas was electric.
Yes, sir. How did J.C. Jackson do? Just out of curiosity, did he even play?
I don't think J.C. Jackson starts yet, at least.
Okay, I was gonna say, I hope he sucks, but oh no, he's out there. He had 5 tackles.
Okay,
interesting. I wonder if he gave up any touchdowns. Hopefully, I don't know.
Probably, but any fantasy takeaways, Shane, in this one, other than like just Kincaid being good and Cook getting more involved?
Yeah, I mean, if you can, just stay away from Patriots players.
All right. And Gabe Davis, kind of sus. He's a touchdown or bust, like Shane says every week.
Did he even play this week? I don't think so.
Hey,
see him.
Dalton Kincaid has my same birthday. That's random. Happy late birthday to Dalton Kincaid last Tuesday. Same exact birthday as me, same age. That's weird. I didn't even know that.
Why aren't you in the NFL? Slinging it to him.
I mean, I should be. I mean, realistically.
That's a dynamic duo right there, man.
I could probably go beat out Josh Allen. No big deal,
Probably Justin Herbert. That dude blows.
Whoa. With that, we got to move on. Shane's getting a little toxic.
That's toxic. That's his alter ego. But we'll get on to the next game. The Raiders go into Chicago and lose to the Bears 30-12 to this man Tyson Bagent. Just weird game, like 30-12. The Raiders had literally no offense going on at all. Josh Jacobs was a disappointment. Devontae Adams disappointment. Brian Hoyer was just terrible. It's just bad for the Raiders. Good to see the Bears getting something, getting excited for a game, getting pumped up still, that they're still in it right now. They're still in things. DJ Moore is balling out. Deontay Foreman was one of the stud of the weeks. And he just completely balled, and he was a fantasy game changer.
We'll see. I know we talked about Deontay Foreman a little bit at the beginning, but Roshan Johnson should be back this week. So I don't know. That's probably going to diminish Deontay Foreman's role a little bit. Josh Jacobs, man, that guy sucks. Devontae Adams, free Devontae Adams. Seriously, free that dude. Get him on a good team. Jacoby Myers was the only bright spot on that Raiders team.
Yeah,
wide receiver one.
Raiders are just gross. I don't even know why, but you know why their culture and everything is just gross. And everything they do is just kind of gross this year, and it just doesn't seem like they can quite do anything right. And it's like you should free Devontae Adams. Raiders aren't going anywhere. They're not winning anything. They should have a fire sale and totally restart that freaking organization, franchise. Fire all the coaches. I mean, that team is disgusting. And on the other side of the ball, shout out to whatever his name is, Tyson Bagent, getting his first W. That's I think Justin Fields has like one win in his last 14 games. Well, look at this kid. maybe he's the answer. But he actually did play really good. I mean, 21 of 29, only 162 yards, one touchdown, a couple rushes, but they won. They beat up the Raiders, and they played good team football. Unfortunately, Deontay Foreman just absolutely ate in this one, and I had to feel that pain when I looked at the fantasy score just right at the beginning of the 11 o'clock games.
Take out Deontay Foreman completely, and you still lose.
Oh yeah. Oh no, I had Bijan this week, so that just makes it.
And no, don't forget you had Keontae Ingram too.
My running back scored a combined 0.3 points. They had a combined 1 touch for 3 yards. If that's not a fantasy record, then I'm not sure what is. I don't know if I've ever seen anything worse. That's got to be a record. I mean, I don't care what fantasy league you're in or whatever, but that's got to be the worst of all time. And I need to be crowned the worst starting running backs ever because that was horrible. Well, when we get on to Arizona, I'll talk more about Keontae Ingram. DJ Moore, though, Shane, what do you think what do you think about him fantasy wise? Is he just a stud every week?
No, I wouldn't say he's a stud every week, especially with Bajent boy. But he was definitely solid with this quarterback for sure. He was better than I thought he'd be. Obviously, you're starting DJ Moore every week. Flashback, I think you have zero right comparing DJ Moore to AJ Brown. Don't ever do that again.
DJ Moore's fantasy wide receiver 6. He's almost top 5, baby. I mean, come on, give the guy a little love.
All right. Well, I kind of am. He's definitely, you're starting him every week. He's gonna be solid. I don't know what you wanted out of me asking me about DJ Moore, but yeah.
No, yeah, DJ Moore's he's good. Like I feel like he has the potential to have a dud week, but he's just a really like reliable option moving forward. He's going to get you over 10 points most weeks.
I think he's really the only safe one to start on the entire Bears. And then depending whoever their starting running back is, I don't know when Khalil Herbert and all of them, Roshan, are playing, it's kind of a mess, but you can always count on DJ Moore. He's kind of really the only solid fantasy option. And then maybe Cole Kmet, who dropped an absolute stinker this week.
That's what I was going to bring up. What happened to Cole Kmet? Did he get hurt?
No, he just pulled a Cole Kmet. He just either has 35 points or 0, no in between.
Yeah,
but like he didn't have a target.
Yeah,
they do involve Robert Tonyan a lot, so I don't know that it could have. I didn't see if he got hurt, but it could have just involved.
Do you know who they involved? Mercedes Lewis, 1 target, 1 catch.
Shut up.
He's not old Mercedes Lewis, bro.
Mercedes Lewis is in the NFL.
Yeah,
on the Bears.
Yeah, he had a catch for 16 yards.
That's crazy.
He's the only tight end that had a target this game.
Wow. I'll be honest. I think Mercedes Lewis is probably the oldest person I've ever seen, and he's still in the NFL.
He is 39 years old. Wow.
I just expected him to retire after because I know he was on the Packers the last few years. I just expected him to retire, not go to the worst team in the NFL. What? That's wild.
Yeah, he's out targeting Cole Kmet right now.
Is he the oldest tight end ever? Like, seriously?
Probably.
Ask Antonio Gates, you would know.
That is easy of this game.
Antonio Gates retired when he was like 36, 37. Mercedes Lewis is almost 40. This dude was drafted in 2006. I was going to say, I remember him playing with like MJD and stuff.
That's crazy. Yeah, a side tangent by the Seekers, but we just found a crazy NFL loophole. So that was crazy. That's definitely the takeaway of this game. But we'll get on to the next game. The Commanders going to New York and lose to the Giants 14-7, a low scoring, gross divisional matchup. And not great from Hal again. Hal's had some stinker games. He's had some good games, but not a great game. But shout out to my boy Deontay Banks. He picked him off. He's looked really good this year. He's looked like a cornerback 1. Loved him out of Maryland. He should have been drafted over Emmanuel Forbes as well, who's still benched for the the Commanders, love to see Deontay Banks balling, and Saquon did his thing. It's good to see him getting healthier. You can see it. And finally Waller got involved, and he looked pretty solid with Tyrod.
Tyrod Taylor just makes this offense better. All the weapons you had. One, obviously Saquon's relevant. You had not Darius Slayton. Wanda Robinson was kind of irrelevant, so that's surprising. But Jalen Hyatt kind of getting involved a little more is good to see. On the Commander side of things, what I don't understand, you have Brian Robinson, a great running back, and he's basically splitting carries with Chris Rodriguez Jr. That blows my mind.
That was out of nowhere. Chris Rodriguez just came out of nowhere. I don't know if they wanted to just give him looks, but he looked good. So that kind of scares me as a Brian Robinson owner that they're just going to keep involving him and do a split with him.
That doesn't make any sense. We'll see, moving forward what they do about that. And then Terry McLaurin, Logan Thomas, they were both solid. McLaurin first half was, you were thinking, I thought he was going to put up a stinker, but second half he was much better. But yeah, Stores, how did you feel about your boy Terry McLaurin's performance?
So Terry McLaurin, he can definitely drop some stinkers on you, but for the most part, he really is a consistent. I'd say anywhere from like 10 to 16 points. He kind of just gets you in that range. So when he has 6 receptions, 90 yards, 15 fantasy points, you kind of leave happy. He hasn't scored much touchdowns this year. Kind of blame that on Sam Hell for just not looking his way enough, because usually Terry really is open. He's an absolute stud. But then again, they do have a lot of a lot of weapons in that offense. And, they have a good offense. It's just kind of the quarterback play is just kind of what kills them overall. Really low scoring gross game. But Tyrod Taylor, at this point, do you start him over Daniel Jones if you're the Giants? Because I feel like he really is just a better player. He looks better out there. The offense runs better around him. He's more poised. He doesn't make as many boneheaded plays. And then he just looks swaggy on top of all that. Dude's got like the best aesthetic in the league. And I don't know. Tyrod Taylor just is a journeyman in the league. Seems like wherever he goes, that team ends up drafting a really good quarterback the next year. So maybe the Giants get Caleb Williams. He always gets benched for like a Josh Allen, a Justin Herbert, a Baker Mayfield. Always something crazy with Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah, he's good luck. He's proven to be good luck. And yeah, Tyrod Taylor, he's just had an interesting career. Like, I don't know if you remember, Josh, but like over 10 years ago, he got the Bills to their first playoffs in like 25 years since the 80s. Like, Tyrod Taylor's had a pretty underrated career. He had a good game, like against the Bills. He was really serviceable, really just picking them apart, and just really safe with the football. So love to see that from Tyrod Taylor. In our preview episode, I picked the Commanders, but I said if Tyrod plays, I think it's a lot closer. I thought Danny Dimes was going to play this game, but yeah, Tyrod Taylor, I kind of want to see him moving forward.
Same, because both games that the 2.5 games he's played, Darren Waller has been awesome.
Yep. I think he's just better for the fantasy options moving forward.
Yeah, gross game though. Let's move on.
And he's $60 million less than Danny Dimes, but we'll get on to the next game. The Steelers going to LA and beat the Rams 24-17, and it was kind of just a typical Steelers Mike Tomlin grinded out win. I was able to witness this one at SoFi. It was my first time at SoFi. Pretty cool. And yeah, I got to see TJ Watt Defensive Player of the Year, in my opinion.
You were at the game?
You were at this game?
Yeah.
Wait, what? I thought you
were in Disneyland.
Nah, not gonna lie, I went to like the second half of this game, and just for the second half.
What?
You just didn't send us any pictures or anything. You just pulled up to the game and didn't say anything.
Yeah, because I didn't want people to think I was like a bad fan or something. Because I was at Disney first, and then I got cheap tickets, and then went down low. And yeah,
you left Disney for this game. What? All right, show us a picture. We need proof. Me and Shane are a little shook in our seats right now. trying hard to, I don't know, dude. Do we believe him?
I'll send you pics.
I'm mad confused. That's crazy.
I literally was telling you guys that I was at the game, but
No, you definitely
Apparently,
didn't.
Danny does Disneyland and a football game in one day. So shout out Dan, ultimate freaking football dude.
Yeah,
Getting that game.
we're good at leaving things early. We went to the USC game and we left. I'm not even gonna say when we left that, but
Why
yeah,
did you leave that
You
game
left the
early?
USC Utah game when Utah won.
no. So we'll get on to the
No,
Rams
why did you
running
leave that
backs.
game early?
What?
Why did you leave early?
I didn't. I was kidding. But
You probably did. Now you're embarrassed. Let's move on. All right.
Yeah.
Anyways,
well,
how about
let's talk about the Rams running back situation because I predicted that Daryl Henderson was going to be the lead back before this, just based solely off the fact that Sean McVay is weird, that the Rams are weird, and it ended up playing out. Daryl Henderson was the lead back. He was pretty good, and yeah, that whole running back situation was weird.
it is weird, but moving forward with Kyron Williams on IR now, we know Darrell Henderson's going to be we think he's going to be a fine start moving forward. It is a little odd that Zach Evans didn't get a touch. That's really strange.
Yeah,
But
the big waiver pickup, Zach Evans had zero touches.
You felt bad. Kind of same as the DeMercado guy for Cardinals 2 weeks ago. Puka is absolutely him. That dude is insane.
Yeah.
So is George Pickens and Najee Harris and Deontay Johnson. Like, shout out to the Steelers. We're talking about the Rams, but the Steelers won, and they had a good road win.
Yeah, Steelers played good football. Deontay Johnson's back. It's weird to me that the Steelers are 4-2. I didn't really realize that until now, but they're in the playoff race. There was I don't know how, but they're in the, I think they have one of the wild card spots right now. And yeah, I mean, what a good team win against the Rams team who's playing better than they should be playing. And shout out, like Shane said, Puka Nacua absolutely balled this game. Cooper Kupp was a stinker, sadly. Deontay Johnson looking like a fantasy option already in his first week back. George Pickens is a beast. Najee finally getting in the end zone and getting a better game from him. So it's good to see for fantasy owners too.
Yeah, I was kind of sleeping on Deontay. I wasn't really expecting him to do as much as he did in his first game back. So I definitely am intrigued in Deontay. If you could like buy him really, really low, or if he's somehow a waiver option, if someone forgot about him, Deontay's intriguing moving forward.
100%.
All right, yeah. Shout out to the Steelers getting a big road win. We'll move on to the next one. The Cardinals going to Seattle and lose to the Seahawks 20-10. And this one was just the two rookie receivers, Bobo and JSN. They both score. Bobo out of CU Boulder, rookie, a 6th-round pick. He's been a really good blocker. Fun to see Bobo scoring. He's a beast. Shout out to a listener of ours, actually, Bobo, a friend of ours growing up. Shout out Bobo. But Jackson Smith and Jigbo as well finally got into the end zone. Finally, just it's fun seeing two rookie receivers involved after DK Metcalf was out. And I apparently had no clue that DK Metcalf was injured, and I started him in 2 leagues that I have because I just had zero clue, and I was not really on my phone on Sunday morning, so I fumbled, but I still ended up winning. So
it makes you feel better, Dan. I started him in our dynasty league too. I was one of those people that did not know either. It was just kind of random news that all of a sudden happened.
The Josh Dobbs, it was fun while it lasted, but I'm excited for Kyler Murray to get back. I'm excited to see what he does. Hopefully it's this week. I don't know. I guess we'll see, because their weapons this week, Marquise Hollywood Brown and Down, they all sucked. Everyone sucked. DeMercado was all right. He was okay. Other than that, you didn't want to play any other running backs. I know you definitely didn't want to play Keontae Ingram stores.
I don't understand why or what happened. Like, why 1 week is he getting like 18 touches and then the next week he doesn't even touch the ball? It doesn't make sense. It's like they're purposely messing with fantasy owners at this point. What a disaster. Really pissed off about this one.
He burned us both, man. Like I have a league where I have no running backs, and I started him last week, and it ended up being a smart, big brain decision. He was the lead back in that backfield. So I figured, why not start him this week? I have Breece Hall and bye. And then Amari DeMarcado somehow, who the week before didn't touch the ball takes over as the RB1. So the Cardinals are weird. I'm never trusting them in fantasy ever again. They're so weird, man. What was that?
Brutal running back bye week for me. Joe Mixon out, had no idea what to do. And yeah, I think I'm like, oh, Keontae Ingram, RB1 in Arizona, surely some touches. Now the guy doesn't even see the freaking field, and it's just ridiculous. I mean, so weird. But like you said at the beginning of talking about this, shout out to the rookie receivers. Looking like Quentin Johnston's the bust wide receiver of those 5 receivers picked in a row, and that hurts. That really hurts.
Hey, Quentin Johnson had a catch. That was the first time I've seen him had a catch all year this year. So
it was an okay catch, too. It was like a 20-yard turnaround. I don't know if I blame Quentin Johnston necessarily for his lack of production, or if it's something that I don't know. I mean, the Chargers are another story to be talked about, but just weird.
yeah, actually, that's just a poetic transition if you want to get into it right now. Shane, is there anything else you want to say?
No, let's let Soares talk about his Chargers.
All right.
Honestly, I don't know if there's much to say this week. I mean, we're 2-4. I mean, you had one job. It's to stop Travis Kelce. You had one job, and as you can see in this picture, it didn't work out very well.
I mean, to be fair, at least you were right with your pick with the Travis Kelce over on yards.
You guys listen to me. I told you. I said Travis Kelce, whatever his over is, I said you take it, because I promise you he will have some stupid, ridiculous game against the Chargers, because that's just what he does.
You guaranteed a touchdown as well.
Yeah, I did. And I was right, and I will toot my horn for that. That was the most obvious pick, and I hope everyone listened to me, because that was free money that I gave you guys.
I followed you. I tailed you, and I lost it because Bijan, man.
You took his over
picks this week. Absolutely. That doesn't even count.
I had to tell Josh because I did it for the graphic purpose. So I did his actual slip. So I literally had to tell him. But yeah, Bijan let me down, man. But yeah, I was gonna say, like, Stores, you were very right about Kelce, man. He dominated.
Let's just say I nailed that Bijan under.
You did.
I mean, like, what even do you do in that situation, man? I mean, he just Bijan doesn't even, I don't know. I don't want to talk about Bijan, but the Chargers, what an absolute disaster class. And Staley said after, it's time to look at ourselves and do a hard reset. Why didn't you do that over the bye week? Why haven't you done that already? I think it's time to fire you, Staley. I don't think you know what you're doing out there. I think you're an absolute disaster of a coach. I think this team is an absolute disaster right now. It's way too talented to be like this every year, and it's just pathetic. I mean, overall, the Chargers are pathetic, and they were in this game. And it's like they charge her. They do. They had an opportunity to go down there and score and tie the game up, and then Gerald Everett drops a go-ahead or a touchdown to tie the game. And I'm not gonna Justin Herbert has fault in this. And then the next play they throw an interception, and then the game just goes. There's a picked interception, and then the game just goes downhill. And then Pacheco clearly fumbles the ball, but they're not going to give it to the Chargers because Mahomes is going to get his calls when he wants his calls. So I'll be honest, that was a fumble. I know that there wasn't a ton of good camera angles, but the ball was clearly not in his other hands as he was going down. I mean, it was in his right hands, and it was over here in the left hand, and it was out. And that could have been a game changer. But, when you're as good as the Chiefs and you're like a Tom Brady-esque level, as Patrick Mahomes is, the calls are going to favor you, especially in those big-time moments. And, Chiefs have one that are the best, tied for the best record in the NFL with the Eagles at 6-1. So they're looking like the Chiefs, and I honestly don't even feel like their talent is that great outside of Mahomes and Kelce, and then their defense. But their offense doesn't seem that talented to me outside of and Pacheco, those 3 guys.
Yeah, I mean, that was
a lot. Sorry.
No, I mean, to start the game, like the first half, it was looking like it was going to be like a classic like showdown, like just back and forth, like a shootout. But the second half, the Chargers stopped and the Chiefs kept going. Like it felt like the Chiefs finally started trying on offense this game specifically. Like it felt like they honestly scored every possession, and the Chargers were hanging with them, and then they just stopped hanging in the second half. It was kind of weird. And then yeah, shout out to Rashee Rice. He's an absolute beast. Like he's a good, reliable receiver for Mahomes. I love that.
Yeah, Rashee Rice is a definite lineup lock moving forward. He's solid for sure. Chargers, disappointing, man.
Yeah. I think it's safe to say, honestly, for the Chargers at this point, I think the season's over. I do. I think at 2-4 right now, with how good all the other teams are doing in the AFC, when like I think there's only like the Chargers, Broncos, and like a couple other teams below 500. So it's definitely an absolute fist fight in the AFC. And if you're not throwing any punches, you're going to be getting knocked out pretty quick. And it feels like the Chargers at this point, unless some miracle happens, it seems like they're kind of out of it, and the Chiefs are looking to go back and be AFC champions, and especially AFC West champions, and it looks like it's just the same old cycle. So
It's gonna stay the same until they get rid of Staley.
yeah, and I mean, there's a lot to blame. I think Herbert has a lot to blame. He's playing an unconfident brand of football right now. He doesn't look comfortable out there. He looks weird. He looks off. And I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but the organization is definitely in shambles.
I wouldn't count the Chargers out completely yet, but like Shane said, Brandon Staley is the thing that you can point to. It's hard to. It's always the scapegoat as the coach, but Brandon Staley just seems like a big reason for a lot of these losses. It really does.
He just doesn't really seem like, honestly, does Staley look like he knows what he's doing out there?
Oh,
It almost
has he
seems like
ever?
in every single game, yeah, for the last 3 years, he's just completely outcoached. I mean, it just looks like that dude is just, and he's very confident and cocky, and he has no right to be. He goes out there and he says all these, "Oh, we're the best third down defense." Then why is every third and long a first down, Staley? Why do you say these things and you toot your own horn, but you never show up? It's just it's pathetic. He's an embarrassment as a coach, and he never should have been the hire a couple of years ago. I mean, he never had the credentials. He just had a good season with the Rams, rubbing off of Sean McVay's success, and he's just an embarrassment out there.
He had a good season with a really, 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 really talented Rams defense. And one last shout out is Charles Omenihu, his first game back from suspension. He gets the big tip at the end for the pick to win it, and then he had a big game just all around.
He's an absolute baller out there, and McCole Hardman was actually, his first game back. So the Chiefs looked pretty good too.
Moving on.
Of course, just McCole Hardman just slots right in and has an instant impact. But we'll move on to a game that we'll kind of just gloss right over. The Packers go into Denver and lose to the Broncos 19-17. In my opinion, this is just no self-awareness from the Broncos by winning that game. It's like, you're not making the playoffs, so what are we doing winning this game? What are we doing even trying to win this game at the end? I'm just too infatuated by like all of these quarterbacks, honestly. Penix, Nix, Caleb Williams, all of them. I want them all. I don't care who it is, but maybe I'm just too infatuated by that. And the Broncos can keep trying, but it's just, I've been so disappointed by the Broncos. Even in this game, they didn't look good. I would really shout out Javonte Williams, who's been getting healthier and healthier and better every week, and Jaleel McLaughlin. They're kind of turning into a good running back duo, honestly. I like watching them together. They're good thunder and lightning, and P. Ryan was good too. So the Broncos running backs just kind of dominated the running game, took over, and I think that's why the Broncos won this. And Jordan Love struggled. That game losing pick at the very end was a bad pick, and he struggled, man, against a bad defense.
Yeah, he did. The Packers overall, I mean, Aaron Jones, super disappointing. It seemed like he was going to be back, and he was super limited. It was the AJ Dillon show, and that's always a disgusting show to watch. So that was unfortunate. Romeo Doubs, he's looked solid all year. That's still a positive in this offense. I do believe Christian Watson. He had a pretty his right knee. I saw they were mentioning ACL. I haven't heard anything though.
They were saying it could be serious, but I haven't heard anything since either.
Yeah. And then, am I tripping, or did I swear I saw Javonte Williams had a touchdown.
He
doesn't have one here, but I swear I watched 33 fall into the end.
Maybe not.
No, I don't think so. It could have got called. He did. It got called back.
Okay.
It got called back.
That's what. Okay, I knew I saw that, but I thought Jaleel McLaughlin was going to have a little larger of a role, but that didn't happen. Javonte took the bulk of the carries, and Cortland Sutton, that dude is I think it's solid. Surprisingly, Jerry Judy just very disappointing.
Yeah, there's
Uh,
a saying in the NFL, you never sell high, or sorry, you always sell high, you never sell low. Same with fantasy football trades, everything. Sell Cortland Sutton now, trade him now.
shout out Will Lutz. Really good game. 4 for 4.
Oh
Looking,
my
52 long, looking like a stud out there. 13 points. Good job, Will Lutz. Let's move on.
Yeah, that's the fantasy stud for this game. We'll get on to the next one, the big game of the week, the Sunday night game. The Dolphins they went into Philly and lost to the Eagles 31-17. And in my opinion, the Eagles were just the biggest winners of the week. You get the biggest win of the week against one of the hotter teams in the NFL, and then you go turn around and add Kevin Byard from the Titans, like literally the best safety in the NFL over like the last 5 years. It's just beautiful stuff, and just Howie Roseman stuff. What else? What the Eagles do, man?
Pretty down week for the Dolphins if your name isn't Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill should have had 2 touchdowns. That was a pretty crazy drop he had with that slant. Jalen Waddle, that dude cannot stay healthy for the life of him. It's so strange. I'm shocked. I'm truly shocked he came back into the game. He's walking like a 90-year-old man who just broke his back. So good on him, I guess. He's a tough dude. And then Eagles are the Eagles. Like there's not much else to say. They're amazing. Julio Jones is back. There you go.
I think I'm prepared for another Chiefs Eagles Super Bowl at this point. Kevin Byard getting traded for a 5th and a 6th, and Terrell Edmonds is just an absolute freaking steal, man. Why wouldn't any team in the NFL offer a 3rd or a 4th for this guy? And this
Terrell
dude,
Edmonds went to the Titans.
yeah.
That's funny.
They threw him in.
They just
They're just like, here, take
him.
him.
I feel bad for him at this point. I really do.
I do too. I just saw a clip of him and DeAndre Swift hanging out at the Phillies game, having just a great time. Now they just toss him into this trade. Like, here, take this dude. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, Kevin Byard, the Eagles won this week, and those freaking swaggy uniforms look so good. And I don't know, they kind of I don't want to necessarily call out the Dolphins, but I mean, can I just okay, I'm going to call them out for their crimes. I mean, their wins this year have been against the Chargers, the Patriots, the Broncos, and the Giants.
That's crazy.
That's a super easy schedule, to be honest with you. And then their losses are obviously the Bills and the Eagles. And so, I mean, it's not like their record's bad, but are we crowning the Dolphins to be better than they are? Because every time they play a good team, they seem to be put down to earth. And I mean, Tua is a great quarterback. But he definitely looked mid, and he was definitely not clutch, and he just kind of relies, in my opinion, on those big, giant slant Tyreek Hill run for 80 yards off of, and he's the best guy at throwing slants probably in the NFL. But I mean, it just seemed like he got put down to earth, and it kind of seems like the Dolphins were kind of just exposed a little bit by the Eagles. Tyreek Hill still had a really good game. They're still an electric offense, but I don't know. I don't know if we should calm the hype train down on the Dolphins just a little bit. I mean, they're still 5-2, but their wins are against pretty bad teams.
Fair.
Yeah.
Tua wasn't great. I mean, like he has lapses. He had lapses against the Panthers and the Giants. The Giants game, he had like multiple turnover worthy plays. Like he does have lapses in his games. The Eagles defense has kind of been struggling, and he kind of let them dominate for the most part. It's hard to dominate Tyreek Hill when you can literally just throw it as far as you can in his direction and he'll outrun everyone to the ball. But right. Like that's kind of the one thing keeping the Dolphins in it. Like I wouldn't count them out or anything. But yeah, it is something to monitor. Like Tua isn't gonna be clicking on all cylinders every single week.
And I don't know. Tua's deep ball is, unless Tyreek Hill is 5 yards separated. I don't know. When I watched him play every single snap against the Chargers, and he had about 10 turnover-worthy plays. He had about 5 interceptions dropped in that game, which was just immaculate to watch. I mean, there were so many where he just threw it up. It was underthrown. It was tipped, almost picked off. But I don't know. Tyreek Hill definitely looking like MVP out there. But I don't know. This Tua hype. I don't know. He's a great quarterback. Like we always say, he's one of the better point guards. He makes those dink and dunk, easy throws. I don't know. I'm not ready to crown the Dolphins yet. I think they've kind of disappointed me a little bit. In the games, in their big games, they've looked very human in their big games versus good teams.
And something to monitor on the Dolphins side of things. Jeff Wilson didn't really get involved at all, so it's all Mostert until Achane comes back, I guess. So that's clarity in fantasy, I guess. And then on the Eagles side, DeAndre Swift is the bell cow still, and then AJ Brown is still him.
AJ Brown is
Devontae Smith is kind of struggling.
AJ Brown is an absolute dog, and he looked freaking dope in those green uniforms. Those uniforms are so cool. I'll shout those uniforms out. Those are probably one of my favorite in the NFL. They are so cool.
Yeah, how could you possibly lose at home in those beautiful Kelly green unis? And I don't know why, but AJ Brown did look like noticeably cooler than everyone else. He looks
well,
sick.
his black visor, oh my, he looked insane.
Oh yeah, he's just balling in that freaking uniform, bro. And those things are so clean. Those helmets with the white eagles are so freaking fire, dude. Also, those are got to be that's got to be like I might even crown that like the best uniform. I think those look so cool.
Yeah. Honestly, just AJ Brown is just the exact player that you create in Madden, aesthetically and physically. Just an absolute beast. It's fun to watch the Eagles. They're looking like literally a top 1 or 2 team in the NFL right now with the Chiefs, the 2 Super Bowl teams. It's crazy. But
add Kevin Byard to that backfield, and oh gosh, that secondary is gonna be nasty. Just Howie Roseman, I'm gonna clap for you. You do it again.
Yeah, we'll clap for Howie Roseman. Shout out to the Eagles. We'll get on to the last game of the week. And the 49ers go into Minnesota and lose to the Vikings 22-17. I don't know what just happened. I'm honestly at this point, I'm kind of a Brock Purdy apologist. I feel like I'm always defending him. I feel like I'm pretty much higher on him than like anyone. I feel like I'm pretty high on Brock Purdy. I love watching him move around the pocket. He's really quick. He's got really quick feet. He's smart, elusive in the pocket. But those 2 picks at the end of the game were bad picks. Like as a Brock Purdy apologist, those were some very, very bad picks, especially the first one, just an inaccurate miss of a throw, just bad from Purdy. So he's gonna need to be better as a guy that's high on Purdy. He's gonna need to be a lot better. You can't be doing that. He had an opportunity to beat the Vikings, and he couldn't take advantage of that opportunity.
Yeah, and Brandon Ayuk with no Deebo Samuel was pretty disappointing. I'd say I don't think you're thrilled with his performance. And then Kirk Cousins, he's him clearly. No, I'm just kidding. No, he was great. Yeah. He was great tonight, especially against this defense. That was really impressive. Jordan Addison, that dude balled out. He's been balling out all year, but this was just on another level. And that Vikings backfield is disgusting. It makes me want to barf.
Yeah, I mean, disaster class for the Vikings backfield. It looks like Cam Akers is slowly probably might take over for Alexander Madison, I think, at this point. It seems like they've just kind of been easing him into the role. But Kirk Cousins absolutely balled, throwing the ball 45 times, not getting sacked once. The Vikings offensive line looks fantastic too, keeping Kirk Cousins clean back there. And hurts my heart, dude. We could have had Jordan Addison on this Chargers team. I mean, this dude's an absolute baller. He just kind of plays that style of football that just succeeds in the NFL. And he just looks so good. And I mean, he's obviously getting his opportunity with Justin Jefferson out, and he's making the most of it. And he's just a plug and play at this point. I mean, he's an absolute wide receiver 1, looks so good. TJ Hawkinson, fantasy owners for him, we got to be happy with 11 catches, 86 yards. That's great production right there. And then, yeah, this 49ers team, I mean, 2 losses in a row, kind of crazy. The team we kind of thought would be going undefeated for a while. Brock Purdy's starting to look a little human. Looks like they don't look super electric. They've kind of lost their electric edge these past 2 weeks, haven't been putting up much points. And I don't know what it is. They're going through a funk. I mean, losing to the Browns and the Vikings, weird. Kyle Shanahan, it just seems like games he wouldn't lose. I don't know. They're going through their funk right now. We'll see if they get out of it. Brock Purdy looks like he's in a little funk. We'll see him bounce back. But shout out Christian McCaffrey too I think it was 16 consecutive games with a touchdown. I think that broke the record for the most in the Super Bowl era. So it's pretty impressive.
That
Pretty.
shouldn't be a real stat, by the way. That sounds crazy.
Yeah, I mean, Christian McCaffrey, absolutely a freak out here right now. Just one of the better players we've ever seen.
And yeah, like you said, Kirk Cousins had a great game. He was low-key dealing all game. Jordan Addison, you love to see Addison. Like, did you guys watch the end of the game? Did you see that last play, that third down where the Vikings needed it and they drew it up for Addison and he ran a beautiful route, drew a penalty. Somehow Kirk got out of a sack.
Yeah,
First of all, shouldn't have got out of that sack. That was crazy. That was a magician's Houdini. But that was a great play by Addison.
And then Addison had 2. He's literally doubled on that and beat 2 people. I mean, that whole play was kind of magical right there. And then I thought they were gonna choke right there at the end when they missed that field goal. That was brutal. I was like, oh man, I feel bad for the Vikings. It just reminds me of the Chargers. And you know what? They pulled up. They came through. You know, it was a nice interception on Purdy right there at the end. And you know, that was a great win for the Vikings. It was fun to watch.
Yeah, I was thinking they were going to charge that win away as well when they missed that field goal. I thought it was pretty inevitable that the Niners were going to score, but they didn't. And yeah, on that Addison play, Kevin O'Connell literally said before the play, watch Addison, watch number 3, and they drew it up for him. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, the Akers situation, Akers low-key did show out. He looked good. He looked the part. He looked like a better player than Madison, if I'm being completely honest. And I don't know, moving forward, I feel like the Vikings might feel that way as well. And it's interesting moving forward. I don't know how that situation is going to play out at all. I feel like it's even right now.
Yeah, it's pretty disappointing, pretty gross if you're an Alexander Madison manager like myself. But you know what? My wide receivers are too good. I don't even care about my running backs.
Over under Shane spending 17 fab bucks on Cam Akers.
Well, for starters, I wouldn't spend a dime on him. And second, Danny has him.
No, I'm not gonna lie, I dropped him last week because I gave up on him.
All right. Actually, no,
yeah, I didn't want stores to say that out loud because I didn't think anyone saw that.
I would have noticed looking at the guys tomorrow on the waiver, but no, because I don't want to. I already have Chuba Hubbard and Miles Sanders on my bench. I don't want another gross backfield of both guys on my bench. I'm not doing that.
I don't know. We might see Cam Akers slowly take this role. So I mean, it'd be a smart move from Shane. We'll see what happens. We'll see how the fab goes this week. But any players we should be looking at for fab this week, Shane?
Brandon Powell. Definitely Brandon Powell. Juwan Jennings, as long as Debo's out. I definitely think he's worth picking up for sure as well. I know it's just 2 guys that we just talked about right here, but those are 2 good waiver wire ads.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Anything else you guys want to say on this one? All right. KJ Osborne's kind of been a little bit disappointing. You would think that he would fill into that role a little bit better, but Addison's just been kind of showing out. And one last hot take question for Shane, or exit question is there a better fast food than Wendy's? Like, let's be honest. Like, I was talking to Josh about this the other day. Like, is there a better fast food than Wendy's? Like, it's random, but is there? Like, I don't think there is, man. It's
Wendy's is terrible.
What?
No.
Shane, are we talking quality? We're talking price. We're talking burgers. We're talking chicken.
When you say fast
Wendy's
food,
ever missed? I don't think they've ever missed.
They're like, you're like, would you rather have Wendy's or Chick-fil-A?
I mean, it's close. Like, I had a spicy chicken sandwich.
Close?
I had a spicy chicken sandwich today at Wendy's, and it was insanely good. Their Frosties, their fries are good. I just feel like Wendy's is solid, man.
You're only going to Chick-fil-A for chicken. Wendy's, you got a variety. You're getting, you have your Frosty, you got your burger, you got your chicken too, you got your hamburgers. I mean, you got chili, Shane. The chili is one of the most underrated.
I've never once ordered chili because I'm not a psycho. If you order chili from Wendy's, you're gonna be on the toilet for the next 2 days.
Dan, can I get some help on this one?
Nah, Wendy's chili, dude, with some cheese. It's good, man. I think
we just lost so much credibility because you guys basically said you'd rather have Wendy's over Chick-fil-A. That's insane.
Dan, if I'm going for a straight chicken sandwich and I'm wanting to pay $15, I'm going to Chick-fil-A.
Okay.
If I'm looking for a late night snack that's open till 12, 1 o'clock, and I'm looking to spend $5 on a biggie bag, and I'm getting chicken I'm getting fries, I'm getting the whole 9 yards. I'm going to Wendy's.
Okay, what you just said narrowed it down so much. You said if you don't want chicken and it's late at night and nothing else is open and you're basically handcuffed to a Wendy's, sure, yeah, I had it Thursday night when I was doing a road trip. It was fine. Actually, their ghost pepper ranch or whatever it's called was pretty
Ghost
good.
pepper ranch is incredible.
That was good. But no, this is pointless. We're done here. Wendy's is not top tier.
All right, so what it is, you have to give us an answer then.
Name
Chick-fil-A.
3.
All right.
Well, yeah, Chick-fil-A is absolutely lethal. That's like playing with, freaking.
You were just comparing it to Wendy's.
Well,
Okay, well, it's hard to compare because it's like luxury Wendy's. Like, it's hard to compare that. Chick-fil-A is like luxury fast food. Let's be
Give me Chick-fil-A, give me McDonald's, give me Chipotle, give me Five Guys, give me In-N-Out.
No,
Give me Popeyes.
hot takes from Hot Take Shane, man. Some hot
I think
takes.
I think those are normal common takes. That's crazy.
Well, the slander from Shane on Wendy's is absolutely brutal. We're just hoping for some hype.
Yeah, we'll end this podcast on some apparently Purdy slander and some Wendy slander from Shane.
Yeah, I guess so.
On that, let's get to bed, kids. Come on, wrap it up.
We'll end the late night Seekers podcast. But thanks for joining. Like, subscribe if you liked, and yeah, tune into the NFL Seekers podcast. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.